Okay, we should be starting soon. I start recording. Bermain, if you can start your recording, because I will probably break something. Okay, I was muted. I started the recording. Bermain, can you also start your recording?
Yep.
Because I will probably break
Just started.
something. Okay. If you're not speaking, please keep yourself muted. Welcome to GeekBeacon, your source for all things geek. This is a GBF town hall where we give you an update to what's been going on with GeekBeacon Fest. It is February 20th, 2021, as you should be able to see on your screen. If you are not aware, GeekBeacon is a festival that we are trying to put together here at GeekBeacon in collaboration with various volunteers and organizations.
GeekBeacon Fest.
GeekBeacon Fest, correct. Holler, I am server muting you because there's just way too much static with you. So GeekBeacon Fest is basically an open source festival where we come together. We're trying to have it virtually in the Q4 of 2021. It's basically a celebration of all things open source, open culture, open society, and the social good element around open source. The first thing we at GeekBeacon have helped other conferences, and we're trying to do our own conference, which turned out to be a little bit more difficult with the core infrastructure needs that we didn't have in place. Like we didn't have a way to accept money or donations from companies. So we have been accepted as a nonprofit by the Open Collective. If I think you can see my screen. Essentially, we have a 501c status, so if a company wishes to contribute to us, they have a tax-deductible ability to do a tax-deductible donations. I'm also personally a big fan of this platform because all the, if we go to the GeekBeacon Foundation, which is our core parent entity, all the transactions and money flow and so on is kind of visible, publicly visible, which I think is a really cool aspect of it.
And I just want to interject that this is a huge, huge achievement and something we've been striving for several months now that we have actually accomplished. So yay!
Yay!
Yeah, it was a blocker for a while. Let's see. And part of the blockers is like I personally have had a conference that I planned and helped with before, but we've always had an umbrella corporation that we could plan behind, like a university is sponsoring us or stuff like that. So there was a lot of red tape that we didn't take into account as we were getting started. We tentatively we have some quasi-finalized tracks. So these are the current tracks under development. I say tentatively because if we don't have enough traction or leaders or speakers lined up, all of this is likely to change at any point. But for now, this is where we're striving towards. So I'll go through all of the tracks, and then I will give a few moments to the leads if they want to say a few words about what they're trying to build with with that track. First off, we have an accessibility track. We have gaming track with basically a social good twist or open source twist. Mental health track, which Sage / John is leading. Accessibility is being led by Jerry. We have the open source track, open culture / open society, and then there's the coin from track Properly Paranoid that Nixie has branded a while back on her channel, which basically means security, privacy, decentralized internet, and those sort of topics. Anything that has a TBD is looking for help in the form of leaders or somebody to basically take hold of that particular track and try to develop it further. Going just in order on alphabetical. Jerry, if you want to unmute and say a few words about the accessibility track, you have a few moments.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Hello, everybody. I'm trying, and we're trying to bring everyone talks and lectures and demonstrations from people working on solutions all across the accessibility spectrum, from a company that's making a smartphone that can be used by people who are blind, to another group that is working on real-time on-screen avatars to provide sign language on all sorts of internet connections and videos where it may not exist for people who are deaf, and just a wide range of things, including games accessible to everyone, and talks from people who are engineers, designers, who envision an entire world built and based around accessibility for everyone, and the idea that once we make things better for everyone.
Sorry, 1 second, Jerry.
I'm sorry.
Rimwolf, you're echoing.
Oh, sorry about that. I may exit out of that app.
And can you
Sorry.
please mute yourself?
I apologize. Yeah, I'm gonna mute.
Sorry, is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't do anything. You're good.
You're fine, but we probably missed the last 15, 20 seconds if you want to just
Okay.
reiterate that.
I'll kind of go from the top if that's all right. Hello again, everybody. I am, and we are working to bring everyone lectures and demonstrations and interviews with people who are working on solutions all across the accessibility spectrum, from a company, like I mentioned, that is making a wonderful little smartphone that can be used by people who are blind, and another group that's working on real-time avatars to provide sign language to people who are deaf, to a very interesting group that's working on games and gaming accessible to everyone, and talks from people who are architects and designers whose vision it is to create an entire world accessible to everyone, and the idea being that accessibility designed in from the ground up for everyone is better indeed for everyone, more efficient, more usable, and just a better world all the way around. So lots of things are coming. Please stay tuned. Please stop by and visit this site anytime you'd like. Volunteer if you'd like. We're always looking for volunteers, and I promise you, you'll have fun. You'll have a good time. And if you don't want to volunteer, just stop by anytime you'd like and listen or talk. Ideas are always welcome. Everyone's always welcome, and we will do our very best to bring you a festival that is entertaining and educational and fun, and something you'll want to be coming back to every year. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for the update, Jerry.
Yay!
And I'm showcasing the event volunteer form if you do want to fill that out. I was going to talk about that a bit more later, but passing this on to John, or slash Sage. He's leading the mental health side. You have a few minutes if you want to talk about your track.
Thank you very much, CS Geek. I am the mental health lead for GeekBeacon Fest. My original plan was to pursue with a focus on coping with social distancing, techniques for staying focused at home, managing anxiety, tools, stuff like that. One speaker will be talking about proprioception and how weighted clothing can reduce anxiety and improve focus for not only the general population, but especially for people with autism and ADHD. Another speaker would be talking about how his Raspberry Pi proximity detector allows himself to live independently by tracking his usage of his medication and alerting his family if he forgets. This may naturally change by the time we hit October, which is why I'm looking for more volunteers that are willing to go out and research possible speakers, contact them, and manage them for the goal of helping build a commonwealth of knowledge of mental health and coping during these times. People will need help readjusting, even if COVID reduces itself in the near future. Please feel free to DM me if you wish to contribute, or use the volunteer link that CS Geek showed earlier.
Okay. Thank you, Sage. The other thing I wanted to add, we also have a community here at GeekBeacon that we call Scroll Army, which is basically a peer support group for depression, anxiety, neuroatypicals, brains. And if you want to get involved, please join our Discord. It's discord.geekbeacon.org, and there's probably a partner link I can never seem to remember, so I'm just going to go with that for now.
Discord or GG Discord /GeekBeacon.
There you go.
Or geekbeacon.org and then social tab. Yeah.
Okay, so that's essentially the summary of the tracks that we are currently developing. Obviously, we need more leaders that want to take on the responsibility or ownership of the various tracks. Nixie, who is the person that just keeps on chiming in, I probably should have introduced her already, but likely you know her. She is your Nixie Pixel, your Things for All Things Open Source. She's our host and promotional lead and general supervisor / direction of what co-chair of GBF and where it's heading.
Thank you.
Do you want to say a few words since I chimed in about you?
The only thing I could add is I've been really submerging myself into privacy and the open internet and how that affects us. And I think it really beautifully dovetails into everything that we're trying to, promote and contribute to with GBF. So if anybody has any thoughts on the open internet or decentralized solutions, for instance, we have some speakers. I think you're going to touch on this, CS Geek, but I'm going to interview 2 separate companies. One of them, if you guys have heard of Folding at Home, you essentially use your computer's latent resources. So when you're not using your computer, they're essentially donating and creating money for charities. So I'm going to interview them. They're called Leyline. And anybody that has any connections, that's another thing. If all I can think of is the quote by Dr. Seuss, The Lorax, where it's like, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. But basically, you can help by volunteering, but even if you have contacts for which you could introduce us to, that would be massively valuable and wouldn't take too much of anybody's time, I don't imagine. So that would be my ask, is to build out more of the privacy and open internet track. And I'll probably champion for that track, though I would love to see some leadership, since we are mainly still forming as a good group of volunteers to meet on a regular basis. So we're not final, we haven't reached our final form. We have not formed Voltron as of yet, and we are definitely looking to have some more leadership on our team. So that would be all I have to say about that.
Thank you very much. So the next topic I wanted to mention is the wrong window. We opened up registration, so if you are interested in attending, it will be very helpful if people start registering early, and we'll do our best to keep you updated. But if you go to the website and click on registration, it will take you to an Eventbrite form, what are the delightful logo that our volunteers have created, and a description of the events and so on. So if you feel, if you wish to register for the event, please do so. let's see, what else? We have a couple of confirmed speakers. The Snowdrift is a interesting project where they're essentially working on a Patreon alternative that with a for social good element. They have a very interesting model where your contribution kind of increases or decreases depending on how popular the project is, and you can set caps and things like that. But I'll let them speak for themselves when they give their presentation. And the other confirmed speaker is Namebase, which is a DNS registrar built on the decentralized internet and all that sort of stuff. So I believe you can buy a TLD top level domain with them. So that's the two confirmed speakers we have. We have a lot of other ones in the works, and Nixie touched on a ley line already. Since you added most of these, do you want to talk about it, Nixie? The next three?
Sure. There's even more that I didn't get a chance to pour out onto there. But Geek Therapeutics is part of the mental health track, and one of the companies I'll be interviewing as well. They use they use basically gaming as a form of therapy for people that suffer with ADHD related behavioral issues, so on and so forth. That was really fun. Another really awesome find was Creation Crate. They essentially send these, starting out from like a young age, they start sending out like their curriculum as far as like making little robots. So they have robots for kids to assemble, and they have robots for adults that are much more challenging. And so they're going to possibly speak and also send us a bunch of these robots to play around with and probably have disastrous results if it's up to me, but I will try my best. And Accessible Coconut, they are interested in speaking or being a part of the conference. They are a open source Linux-based tooling that has screen readers and Braille. I'm trying to remember exactly. They basically have just a suite of accessibility tools for people that are visually impaired, and just being more allowing your device to be more accessible, and that's what they do. So there's way more than that I got a chance to like put on the list, but that's a good summary for now.
Okay, thank you for the update. We have a quasi-sponsorship from CNCF, which is the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. They're related with the Linux Foundation as well, which does all kinds of training and courses being provided. And they gave us a little coupon code for our volunteers. So if you're interested in taking classes and furthering your certifications, Kubernetes learning, cloud learning, all that sort of stuff, they give attendees a discount that we'll be sending out with our other mailings once we get closer to the day of the event. And just in general, for everybody that has already helped with the conference, I just want to send a shout out and thank you to everybody that's volunteered their time, resources, to help us make this event what we're hoping it will be in the end of the year. Hopefully we'll have a fun, nice event with multiple hosts, multiple tracks, and have a chance to get together and widen our horizons and learn more about the world and technology and everything else around us. Thank you also to the copy editors. We have a group of very active copy editors that have been very helpful in making sure our grammatical errors are caught and addressed in the various documentations that we're creating and sending out to speakers and sponsors and so on. If you would like to help in any capacity with the conference or other GeekBeacon projects, feel free to reach out. There's a volunteer form on the website. Specifically, if you're looking for a GeekBeacon Fest, please fill out the, sorry, not the speaker form, the volunteer form. If you are looking to help with GeekBeacon in general, there's a different form, but probably just reach out to me and I will direct you to where you need to go. I think the last Sage, I think you've somewhat already talked about the mental track. Do you want to add anything else? I had a bullet point for you.
Not presently. I was hoping to recruit a few more people, but that may take more time. So please move.
Okay. And Jerry has been working with to help us create what we call a pitch deck. It's still under development, but basically, like every conference has a nice little pretty presentation that talks about what we are, what we stand for, and so on. So just want to thank Jerry for all the work, and everybody else has been contributing to that effort. It makes us seem more professional when we present more polished workflow, or not workflow, pitch deck, I guess, of describing who we are, what we are, and why we matter, and what we're aspiring to build. And that's all I have, aside from we're still building. We're looking for help, and if you are seeing something here that resonates with you, that you would like to see come to life, and have some free time, please reach out to us, and we'll bring you into the folds and see how we can put it together in a very open source way of collaboration with everybody. We'll try to have these town hall meetings. My aspirations is to be a monthly event. So this, I think, has been about almost 2 months since the last one. And keep the community appraised of everything that's been going on, and hopefully have a fun event. And with that, I'll just open the floor to anybody else that is involved in the conference that wants to say anything, and then I'll just open up the floor for questions. So any leads that have anything they want to say?
I just think that a central part of this is just living for something bigger than we all are. And ultimately, we feel like we're leading a life that matters, and GBF is something that's uniquely positioned for us all to do that, and helps make our short time on this earth, like we feel like we've made some kind of difference. And I think that's kind of what we want to kick GBF off for, and what was the initial spark of the beacon. So anyone that wants to help us light it, I'm totally down.
Okay. And I
agreed, Nixie, agreed.
Thank you, John. I think everybody should be able to unmute if they wanted to say anything. So I'm just opening up the floor for questions if anybody has anything they'd like to ask. Okay. I will stop the recording, and Bremain, you can do that as well.